Steve, says Kate. This isn't a joke, it's serious. I've just completed a 9-month course to become a qualified tour guide of Colchester. Fascinating town with a brilliant museum housed within the castle. I'd be happy to give you a tour any time you want. It's Garrison Town, isn't it, Colchester? I believe. And Roman as well, so you've got lots of history. Thank you for the offer. And Steve, can you wish my mum Pamela a very happy birthday from Emma, Alfie and Bertie the Cocker Spaniel? Oh, do me a favour. Cocker Spaniels don't know its birthdays, but we had one. We love your show and listen every morning. Thank you. Rephone, says Tina, not being answered. I've started to write good old-fashioned letters, which get sent in the post. God, you're so old-fashioned. Writing a letter in this day and age, what, with a stamp? I bet you can't even tell me how much a first-class stamp costs now. I couldn't tell you. And how much? 20 pence? A quid? I don't know. I've got no idea. We shall find out in a moment. If that's not a tease, nothing is. Call it a 7. Let's get the news headlines with Simon Conway.
Inflation in the year to April is expected to have reached 9%. New figures are released shortly. A Tory MP remains in police custody after his arrest on suspicion of rape. The London Fire Brigade says more than 1,000 residential buildings in the capital are still unsafe 5 years after Grenfell. LBC weather, many parts largely fine and turning warm in the southeast, a high of 23 degrees.
LBC Travel, I'm Joanne Webb. In West Yorkshire, the M62 is closed westbound from junction 32 at Pontefract to 31 at Castleford, and there are delays back to the A1M interchange. It's because of an investigation, but eastbound is now just closed at junction 31 at Castleford, so traffic can go via the exit and entry slip roads, but there are delays still all the way back to junction 30 at Rothwell. In Warwickshire, on the M40, the southbound exit slip road stays closed at junction 12 at Gaydon for those emergency repair works. In London, the A24 Clapham Common South Side stays closed both ways in Clapham, and in Surrey, Walton Bridge has had to be closed in both directions because of an ongoing investigation.
LBC.
The Sky Connect summer sale is now on. Get Advantage Pro at our lowest monthly price this year, just $24.95. That's super fast business broadband with 4G internet backup for an ultra-reliable connection that won't let you down at a price that won't go up, thanks to no in-contract price rises, guaranteed. Switch and save today in the Sky Connect summer sale. Visit skyconnect.uk. Sky Fibre areas only, 4G coverage required, new customers only, £79 setup, £12 delivery, Advantage Pro 24 or 36-month contract. Prices exclude 20% VAT. Offer ends 24th of June. Skyconnect.uk for full details.
Hello, I'm Nick Ferrari. Nick Ferrari at breakfast. I'm back, leading Britain's conversation in 15 minutes on LBC.
Experience knows there's nothing quite like that new feeling. The smell of a new book as you turn a page. Or the thrill of slipping into the leather seats of a new car. Lovely. Now imagine how 2 newly designed river cruise ships would feel. Cabins with French balconies where you can literally touch the view. Speciality dining included in the price. And small and intimate, so you're never just a number. Well, it's a new feeling you just have to feel yourself.
Book your summer river cruise aboard the new Spirit of the Rhine or Spirit of the Danube. Search Saga Spirit River Cruises. Saga. Experience is everything. Over 50s only.
Hi everyone, Jamie Oliver here. We all know it can be healthier to eat your veg. That's why I've created a delicious veggie curry in partnership with Tesco and WWF. Discover my veg pack recipe on Tesco Real Food, filled with spring greens, chickpeas and sweet potato. Tesco, every little helps.
The veggie curry recipe is a source of protein which contributes to the maintenance of muscle mass as part of a varied and balanced diet and healthy lifestyles. To find out more on the WWF partnership, see tesco.com/better-baskets for details.
At PensionBee, we're building a pension company you can believe in. Be pension confident. Join at pensionbee.com. Capital at risk, authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority.
Steve Allen on LBC.
Morning, nice to be company. I trust we are well. Liz with flu in Cyprus, excuse me, says, Steve, if I get hold of a human being straight away, I always say, good God, a human, how wonderful. Not a lot you can answer to that, is it? It's like cold calling. You know, you do still get the cold callers. You can always tell when you're being cold called, because if you are unwise enough to pick up the phone, if you don't recognise the number, there'll be a pause, and that means they've gone, quick, line 3. And they go, oh, hello, just calling you from the gas company, whatever. It's always used to be, I used to sort of say, oh, sorry, are you the funeral directors? When will you be coming to collect her? And they go, sorry? I go, oh, sorry, I need to keep the line free. Thank you, bye-bye. And put the phone down. Much easier. And one says, Steve, I had vouchers, only for £600 with BA from a cancelled holiday to Mauritius. In 2019, I had a very frustrating experience, unable to talk to a human being, emails not going answered, formal complaints being ignored, trying to use my vouchers on a new BA booking. So in the end, and purely at my wife's suggestion, I wrote an email directly to Sean Doyle, who's BA's CEO, and coincidentally, or otherwise, £600 appeared in my credit card account within 3 days. I've no idea whether they were refunding all such vouchers, but I strongly suspect an email direct to the CEO had something to do with it, says Chris in Chelsea. Listen, if in doubt, write to the top person. Because that way, and also, if you can send it registered, that means somebody's got to sign for it the other end, and that means that they've had it. And that means that, you know, you might actually get the response that you were so desiring. Because I know that you don't think that they answer these things, but if it goes straight to the top, they will answer. But sometimes, you know, other people, you can see them sitting there going, couldn't care less. You know, if you call somebody, they're in a call centre, which could be 200 or 300 people in a room answering the phone. They don't care who you are. They're not particularly bothered. Paul in Deal says, only yesterday I was on hold for 1 hour, 46 minutes with DVLA. And I've just looked at my call log, and then with connections to various other holes, total call time, 2 hours, 38 minutes. It's a joke. Well, that's part of your life you're never going to get back. Price of a first-class stamp. Go on, how much do you reckon? 60 pence? 30 pence. 95 pence. That'll be 5 pence for delivery and 90 pence for storage, I should imagine. But, because you have to wait for ages. I order stuff from the States, and if you just let them do it surface mail, it takes about 6 weeks. It takes forever and a day. Steve, I've waited 43 years for you to take a call from me. I've now given up, says Howard. Now, that's a fib, because we've taken calls certainly more recently than 43 years. Charlie says, if I have to wait on hold for too long, I cancel the direct debit, and suddenly they've got time to talk to me. They'll even call me. Yeah, sometimes you don't want to answer them, though, do you, when they call. Charmaine in Hanwell says, I've tried several times to call Scottish and Southern Electric, and on the last occasion, I waited for 1.5 hours without managing to speak with anyone. I work full-time, so I can only make calls to companies on days off. It's ridiculous. I'm off work tomorrow, so I'll have another go then. Sorry. She says, been listening to the show for years and love it. Isn't it amazing? I mean, one here. And it says, Steve, 30 minutes waiting on a call to my GP yesterday. I'll tell you what I hate. It's when they go through this rigmarole at the beginning. If you've got this, please push this number. And they, you know, there are other options for you to. I don't want another option. I just want somebody to answer the telephone. Have I had voice recognition? No, I don't think so. Oh, the banks use it. Oh, yeah, to see if it's you. Yeah. I mean, I think that's probably quite a good idea, actually, to have bank recognition on your voice. Although you could probably cheat the system by having it as a recording, couldn't you? You could just put your voice on a recording thing and put it on there. I have heard of it before, actually. Lloyd says, my bulldog, Steve, Ernie, definitely knows when it's his birthday. He gets fillet steak for his dinner and a doggy birthday cake. Candles and all, says Lloyd. Of course, you would live in Brighton, wouldn't you? I bet you dress the thing up as well. Steve, your ready meal, was it Thai, says Angley? They're delicious. It might have been Thai. I don't know. It wasn't Greek. It just said yellow chicken curry. But it tasted Thai, so I suspect it might have been. To be honest with you, I never even checked. It certainly wasn't Chinese, that's a fact. But it was nice. Very nice. Couldn't complain about it. Tonight I've got, or this afternoon, I've got cauliflower in some sort of hoisin type sauce type thing, and some rice. So very. Oh, and asparagus. Me, you and my asparagus, of course. Steve, says Jimmy the Rat, Chicago Rib Shack, was in Lancelot Place. And Phil on Anglesey says, do you remember they filmed Only Fools and Horses, Steve, at Hillingdon Hospital maternity ward? The birth of Damien. Both my children were born there around that time. See? Jim Diamond. No, it wasn't Jim Diamond who sang Hi-Ho Silver, was it? The theme tune to Boom? I don't think it was somebody Diamond. Was it? You might be right, actually. It's not our Jim Diamond. Was it Jim Diamond? Blood, I hate being wrong. Never admit it. But it was, yeah, Jim Diamond, which went, and sometimes I sit, feeling alone. No one to talk to, got no telephone. And it goes, Hi-Ho Silver, got me Lone Ranger. It was very catchy, actually. Very, very catchy little tune. And one from Liz. says, listen to the interview podcast with Ian Dale on the flight to Cyprus. You both bounced off each other well. Ian, like you, has such a great radio voice. Isn't it funny? Nobody's ever said that to me before. Nobody's ever said you've got a great radio voice. They haven't. So seriously, I never think I've got a great radio voice because I've never heard it. I mean, I hear it because I'm doing it now. I should listen. Yeah. You really should listen. You really should listen. My friend Neil. A lot of people. Finally, my friend Kevin Hughes, who went to see Greece. He loved it. He loved Greece, and Mr. Neil loves it as well. He said we used to love the blooming onion with a honey loaf from the Outback restaurant. See, the only Outback restaurant I ever discovered was one in Staines, big in America, and they're famous for ribs and burgers and stuff like that. And they were quite nice, actually. Got taken there years and years ago. One here that says, can you please give a massive shout out, Steve, to everybody at Cosmic Workshop in Archway, as it's a fantastic co-working space and has now been open for 1 year. Well done. Listen, to survive anything in this day and age, well done. So, Cosmic Workspace. And James says, do you remember the Baron of Beef on Fetter Lane? It's a pub listed in a small guide I have of pubs in the city. I don't remember that at all. I really don't remember that. The Baron of Beef. I know Fetter Lane, but I don't remember the Baron of Beef. Stuart Manning says, and a great face for radio. That's what Gary Bushell said about me once. He said, Steve Allen, great face for radio. I felt I was hurt. Steve, says Viv, my mum always said, write to the person who pushes the broom. I write to everyone, which is, Viv, it'll probably serve you very well, I should imagine. Priti Patel vows to protect women and tells the police root out abuse. Yes, lovely. It's a good idea, but whether or not it works, I've got no idea. And everybody was yesterday talking about the apocalyptic bank warning that food prices, this is from the Bank of England governor, a guy called Andrew Bailey. He said it's going to go through the roof. The amount of letters you read in the papers, it's amazing, actually. James May says he and co-host Jeremy Clarkson bristle a bit if they're forced to share food. The admission came 7 years after Clarkson, you remember, assaulted a Top Gear producer who told him no hot meals were available when he arrived at the hotel. James told a podcast, we both quite like to order and have our own food. We both bristle a lot if there's somebody organising us who says, shall I order a bit of everything for everyone? Jeremy and I are the first to go, no, I want the noodles and I want them to myself. And that's the way it goes. It's like, I don't share food. I don't like it if people want to share food. You order food in a restaurant and they go, oh, I won't order any chips, I'll have some of yours. You went, no, you won't. Not having any of mine at all. You want to get your own chips, back off. In my space. Just move away, slowly. Yeah, don't worry, I'll just have a few of your chips. I don't want to share chips. It's like somebody who always says you can guarantee it. You leave a bit of food on your plate. Somebody goes, can I have that? You go, no, you can't have it. I'm not sharing plates of food. What do you think this is, a commune or something? Definitely don't do stuff like that. It's good. Steve, I've waited on many calls thinking I'll be answered soon. I know, I've done it. Only to be cut off, says Jed. After an hour, some companies tell you the estimated wait time, giving the option to wait or call back later. Well, why can't they do the same as they do at Alton Towers? I know it's not quite the same. If you go to Alton Towers, you want to go on one of the rides, like the log flume, they'll say, from here, it's 3 hours waiting, or here, 2 hours waiting. Seriously, I couldn't believe it. But you can fast track, you can pay extra for everything nowadays, and be fast track. You do it at Disney, but they will tell you how long you're going to be standing there waiting. And I don't do waiting, so I'd always pay a little bit extra, or sort of go, oh, I'm a diabetic. Let's see whether that works. If it works, I'll try and get away with it. The ex-boss, Greg Dyke, has slammed the licence fee as unfair and unsatisfactory tax. Where are they going to get the money from if it all gets cut off? Dreadful, isn't it? That's it for this morning. Thank you very much indeed for your company, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Don't forget my free Little Bit Extra podcast. There's a new episode to download every single day exclusively on the Global Player app. If you missed any of this morning's programme, there'll be a podcast and the whole show available very shortly, so please download. It doesn't cost you a penny piece. I'll be back with Steve Allen's Early Breakfast tomorrow morning at 4 until 7. Wish you a pleasant day. Coming up at 10 o'clock this morning, it's James O'Brien. But right now, with the Wednesday breakfast, Here's Nick Ferrari.
Thanks, Steve. At 7 o'clock on Wednesday, May the 18th, and just minutes away from key inflation figures, the possibility of tax cuts aired by Chancellor Rishi Sunak yesterday.
We want to see our energy companies who have made extraordinary profits at a time of acutely elevated prices, investing those profits back into British jobs. If that doesn't happen, no option is off the table.
But what does that mean? Still on the attack, Labour's Ed Miliband.
Crypto has crashed, and so has the Chancellor. And how similar they are. Came out of nowhere, looked like the future, but it's all turned out to be one giant Ponzi scheme.
The police officer who tells the Home Secretary she can't live on £2,300 per month take-home pay, and how 73% of Department of Work and Pensions staff spend their day. Being given jive dancing classes over the internet while they stay at home. It's all after the 7 o'clock news on LBC.
On your radio, on Global Player, and
Play LBC.
leading Britain's conversation. This is LBC.
From Global's newsroom at 7 o'clock. New figures released shortly are expected to confirm another huge rise in the cost of living. Inflation in the year to April is forecast to be 9.1%, which would be the highest since 1982. Natalie from Liverpool uses a food pantry and told LBC she's being priced out of buying healthy food for her children.
I've got 2 kids. They love fruit. We used to be able to sort of buy fresh fruit anytime we go to the shop. Now prices of things have increased so much that we can't get that every time we go to the shop. I notice it every time and it still takes me by surprise, just the difference. And it might just be 25p or 50p for an item, but that really adds up.
Labour will hold a Commons vote later to pressure Boris Johnson to commit to an emergency budget. The Prime Minister and the Chancellor Rishi Sunak have been resisting demands to set out new tax and spend measures to alleviate the cost of living crisis. A Conservative MP is continuing to be held by police on suspicion of rape and sexual assault allegations. The man hasn't been named, but officers are questioning a man in his 50s. LBC's David Don has more.
The allegations were first reported to the Metropolitan Police in January 2020. They cover a 7-year period in London between 2002 and 2009, including rape, sexual assault and misconduct in public office. This morning, the MP is still in custody. He's been urged by the Tories to stay away from Parliament. But it's understood a decision on whether to suspend the whip from him won't be made until the police